Hi, everyone. I'm back and I'm here to talk to you about the facade of Reims Cathedral. I really love this comparison because it's so interesting to see the evolution from the Romanesque to the Gothic. So on the right, I'm showing you Saint Etienne, right? This is our Romanesque facade. We looked at this in one of the earlier pages, right? We looked at this in terms of the kind of repetition of numbers. We saw how the facade was buttressed, right, by these four buttresses that divide the facade into three sections, right? And we know the relevance of the Holy Trinity in Christian lore. And this is very, very much a self-conscious decision to create this series of threes. Similarly, the facade can also be divided into three courses, horizontal courses, if we look this way, right? Reiterating the repetition of threes, and of course we can see the three windows in the front. We can see clearly that this is a Romanesque facade because of the arches. The rounded arches. And then if we draw the eye up further, we can see that the towers similarly have been divided into three sections. So we get this. Now let's look what's happening in Reims Cathedral. Wow, right? What a spectacular facade. But interestingly, the basis of it is very much seen in Saint Etienne. It's kind of almost like it's on steroids, if you will. We still see the same four buttresses. There they are, but now they've been embellished to include statuary. And these four buttresses, right, here they are here, divide the facade into three sections, right? And similarly, the facade has also been broken into three courses, or like we would say stories as well, right? First story, second story, third story. So we have the basic similar structure as the same three doors or portals, right? But look at the level of embellishment that happens during the Gothic, right? We have literally this expansion, if you will, of sculptural embellishment on the facade. We have here the tympanum. Let's draw the eye to the tympanum. Now, instead of the stonework that we do see at places like Moissac, right, we now see stained glass windows filling the tympanum. And this is mirrored above by the new addition of the rose window. This is something that we only see develop in the Gothic. And these spectacular rose windows, like we see at Chartres, are really a hallmark of a Gothic cathedral. The kind of embellishment here is called tracery, right, where we see this type of stonework on the facade. We can also see the jambs, right, have been extremely embellished now with figures. We saw this in the early Gothic at the early Gothic Chartres door, the royal portal, right? And this is expanded further in the High Gothic. And another really interesting thing about this is I mentioned scholasticism, the philosophy presented by St. Thomas Aquinas at the University of Paris, which really was the intellectual center of the Gothic period. And he presented having, for the first time, kind of contact with the writing of Aristotle, right? This idea of kind of rational inquiry, taking the mystical ideas of Christianity, the divinity of God, things that really can't be proven through rational discourse. Yet Thomas Aquinas, in his treatises, treats them as if they can, presenting this kind of notion of does God exist, and then going through pro and con, why and why not this can be. So we have this kind of integration of antithetical elements, if you will, and many have argued that the facade of these Gothic churches similarly conveys this idea, with this idea of the transparency of the stained glass, these, whole elements of transparent forms within this, dense stone, opaque framework. So we get these kind of two antithetical elements, the opacity of the stone, the transparency of the glass, kind of brought together in this kind of extraordinary fusion in these Gothic cathedrals, which is, I think, so cool, and really kind of a highlight in the way that kind of philosophical thinking of the time is integrated into architecture as well. Okay,